Hey, what's up, guys? It's Sunday here, and I decided to make a quick video because I saw some interesting things online. And a lot of it pertains to EA Ski and what he's talking about music wise. And a few days ago, I decided to purchase his thumb drive, his limited edition thumb drive. And I'm going to tell you why I decided to do that. I'm going to show you also why I decided to do that. A little bit of backstory. I've been doing music for going on 26 years now. Started really heavy into the music side in the summer of '98. Prior to that, I was DJing, which led me into music. So we're going to go transform real quick and I'll show you another part and we'll go ahead and get to it. So let's go. All right, so here we are. We're in my recording studio. This is where I do all of my mixing, all of my mastering. I usually send most of my stuff out to get mastered, but I'll do the mixing on my own. This came by way of necessity. When I first started out in music, I would take my stuff to people to do something with it, and it just wouldn't come out the way I wanted it. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna learn this process. The reason I show you this is because again, I've got some pretty middle of the road gear. I've got some high end stuff here, but for the most part, I show you this because my background started off in music production and then it ventured off into the audio engineering side to where I really got behind the boards and I really had to figure out how all this stuff works. And so, what I really like about what Ski is doing is he's bringing a lot of this unknown knowledge to the forefront because I feel like there's a generation in which it got lost, right? There's like the generational shift, which a lot of these things got lost, and you may not necessarily have to like what he says delivery wise, but the message itself is 100% true. And so the reason why I purchased the drums is because as I was watching his last interview with Georgia Muscle, I thought it was interesting something that he said. And one of the things he said was back in the day, engineers used to hide what they were doing, producers used to hide what they were doing. And that is 100% a fact. And I started laughing because I was just having this conversation a couple weeks ago. Um, and I decided to make a video about it that I'll post later, but it was about the gatekeeping, right? And we talk about gatekeeping all the time, and that was a real thing. That was your way to set yourself apart and get ahead. There's so much information out there on the internet now. It doesn't really do a lot of people a whole lot of good to keep secrets because everything's kind of known now. Well, I'd say about 80% of it is known. There's still some industry secrets out there that you have to be kind of in that circle to figure it out. But it's like magic, right? We figured out a lot of the magic tricks, and if I want to know how magic tricks done, I just jump on Google. But the reason why I purchased the kit is because I spent years collecting and curating drums. Like your drums were like your thing. And if you had a drum kit that would set you apart, you didn't want anybody to get a hold of that because that was your livelihood. That was your bid for success. That was your way of saying, like, hey, this is me, this is my sound. And so cats used to really, really gatekeep what they were doing. Like you couldn't look at another guy's settings. You couldn't, try to borrow his drums or any of that stuff because those those things were sacred, right? And I think it's so interesting right now that he's given so much knowledge to people, and you just have to respect it. What he's bringing to the table and what he's giving, people don't realize how much value it is. If you were to listen to everything he's been saying for a while and you were to kind of put it in order, all of his videos, right, and just put them in order, he's giving you some real game. He's giving you some real game. Now, I have a business background. I got my degree in business. I'm working on my MBA right now. And what I can tell you is the business model of what he's giving you, if you were to take this and run with it, man, corporations and people charge a lot of money for the content that he's giving you how to. I just want to support what he's doing 100%. I don't need to buy his drums. I don't need to buy his machines. I don't need to buy his hoodies. I don't need to buy any of that. But I respect hustle 100%. I respect ingenuity. I respect hustle. And I respect people who know their craft. And he definitely knows his craft. I mean, he's got the track record to show it. But even outside of that, I respect the hustle. I came up in the 80s and the 90s, where it was all about hustle. Everybody had to have a hustle. And this was back in the days when you used to have to hand your CD out to people to have them listen to it. This was back in the days when you had to walk up to strangers and generate a conversation out of thin air, which is one of the hardest things to do, and present something that's vulnerable to you, which is your art, knowing that they may not like it, and you had to hustle. And right now, he's given us what he's got, and I'm 100% confident he's not even anywhere scratching the surface of what he's about to do. So I purchased the kit because I thought that it was valuable and it was value added to support it and to be able to fund whatever he's doing and how he's trying to do it. He doesn't have to do any of this. He doesn't have to give us any of what he's doing. He could just simply sit back and collect his royalties and just, scoff at the game and where things have become, but he's actively doing something to try to change it. And a lot of people don't realize it. I made a post the other day and I was talking about Scratch Magazine, and Scratch Magazine was huge back in the day. That was something I used to look forward to getting those because the interviews and what they talked about with equipment and all this stuff, like that's how I learned some of what I know about these famous producers. And right now, Ski is knocking it out the park right now, man. He had, Premiere on there, he's had Just Blaze on there, he just had Georgia Muscle on there. If you watch the interviews that he's been doing and the people that he's been talking to and who he's connected with, he's the real deal, right? He's not just talking about it. And when somebody looks and says, you'll see, you'll see. I learned a long time ago there's people who talk and there's people who do. And you can always tell the doers by the look in their eyes. They just have a look, right? It's like a killer instinct. You can look and see that they mean business. And I'm telling you right now, man, this guy means business, and I'm all for it, 100%. Um, and it was funny because he made a comment, and I thought it was hilarious about gear and control surfaces, and they're like a big mouse and stuff like that. And he is 100% right, 100% right. What I learned about gear when it comes to purchasing gear and stuff like that is that you have to understand what you're buying, and you don't buy it for its hype. You buy it for its capabilities. You buy it of the value it's going to bring to you. And so I worked on an SSL a long time ago, and I was like, man, this is incredible. But I knew I would never own one because it wasn't practical for me. I don't do enough business in that category to justify having the SSL for one, but even more so, like those things require a lot that go into them, a lot of maintenance and stuff like that. But what I loved about it was the tactile nature of it. And yes, this is a big mouse. That's what it is. But the way I have it set up and the way I do it, it gives me that tactile functionality that I love. And so that's valuable for me because when I set it up and I'm running through it, this doesn't make any sound. This doesn't sound like an SSL. And I know that. I knew that coming in. I would be foolish to think that it was going to give me that. But understanding the value of what it adds and how I can get in my zone and how I can just do everything I need to do, to me, that's value added. Same thing with this hardware gear. Yeah, I can slap plugins on and do these things, but it's not about that. It's about understanding why you're purchasing something and not purchasing it just because of the hype, not purchasing it just because it's there, but understanding that this is value added. So everything that I curate, everything that I buy, I've done my research on and it's value added. And I know its strengths and weaknesses and I know how it's going to elevate my game, but I don't look at it as this magic pill or this cure all. I look at it as just another tool in the toolbox. And at the end of the day, I think that, you know, he he says a lot of things that I'm like, man, I was just thinking that. And so with that, I've never donated to like a Patreon or, anything like that, but I've shown my support through purchasing the products. And to me, you put your money where your mouth is. I can spend money on a million things, but this is something I love and I enjoy, and I love to see hustle. And not everybody's pockets are right to be able to get there and do that, and that's understandable. But for me, I really look at it as, you know, entrepreneur to entrepreneur. I've done a lot of things that have generated income, and it's been terrifying to be honest with you. Like you're at a point where it's like, man, is this gonna work? Is this not gonna work? But I've always made it work some way, somehow, some shape or form. I've made it work. And so getting out there and putting yourself out there with all the scrutiny and all the ridicule and everybody's got this to say and that to say, and you've lived it, it's a tough thing to do, and it takes a certain spirit and a certain personality to be able to do that. And so I think what he's given us, like I said, is invaluable. He has really set the bar really, really high. And the interviews he's bringing, the people he's talking to, the things that they're talking about, these are all needed conversations. And it's like I said, you know, this was kept sacred a long time ago. And the fact that he's openly sharing it and getting us interviews that you're not gonna get anywhere else, right? You're not gonna get anywhere else. I know he's got a Roger Lynn interview that I'm waiting to see. He, like I said, man, with Just Blaze and DJ Premier, and well, it's just like, man, he's got real legends. But what's cool about it is he doesn't just stick with the high profile people that everybody knows. He's also reaching around and reaching down to people that we may not know. He had an interview with DJ Roxy a while back, and man, that was amazing to see. I've been following DJ Roxy for a couple years now, and the fact that he was able to align with him, and Curry Cases, and just all the people that he's aligned with, you could see that this guy has nothing but love in his heart. But also too, with that, watch how you step, and he's made that very clear. And I've been to the Bay, and I'll tell you, they're about their business out there. So this is really just a respect thing. But even more so, he doesn't need handouts. He doesn't need anything from anybody. You can see that he's doing this out of pure love, and that makes me want to support it. So that's why I purchased the thumb drive. Um, and it's like I said before, I don't think that it's something that is absolutely necessary, but I know it's gonna have some fire on there. I've purchased a couple of his drum kits before, and they're none but just amazing. And when you understand sonics, you understand sound, you understand these things, you can hear the difference. So, what's the difference between his drum kit and just grabbing a drum kit off Splice? Uh, what I could tell you is that when you understand sound and you understand sonics, it becomes something you can never ever ignore. You can't. It's almost like you can't unsee it. It's almost like you can't unsee it. Um, and what I like about what he's done is when you put his drums in and you listen to him, they're very intentional, right? His drums are very intentional. If you've ever tried to program your own drums, or if you've ever tried to, EQ your own drums, or do any of this your own production, you'll understand how valuable that is. And until you've done it, you don't understand. And it's one of those things, you don't know what you don't know. And until you see it differently, you're just gonna have the blinders on. But when you hear his drums and you listen to how they are, it's like, man, these things are incredible. What makes the music the music? Drums are underrated when it comes to curating, and when it comes to programming, and it comes to sound design, and it's what it represents. So when you listen to his drums, you'll know, yo, these things are legit, and they sound really good, really good. But so I do all my own mixing, like I said, and all the processing and whatnot, and just being able to be a part of this, what he's got going on, is just awesome to me. Like I said, he's exposed me to a lot of things. I didn't know who Polly Popo was before EA Ski. I didn't know who Ali Star was before EA Ski. But he's helped me connect in ways with other people where I would probably never have come across them. Um, and I just think it's amazing, and you could tell it's nothing but love. It's nothing but love. This guy, what's he gonna come up with next? He is batting 1,000. He is asking all the questions we've always wanted to ask, and you could tell these people really rock with him. You can tell these people really, really, really rock with him, because he's not playing games, and you could tell he's genuine. And you can't buy that type of love. You can't fake that. That's real. That's years and years and years of relationship building and interacting to be able to call them and get them on your platform to talk to people for free, right? To talk to them like it's just like, yo, give this game out for free. And it's just mind blowing, man. We didn't have this 20 years ago. So I'm soaking it all up. But that was the big reason why I chose to purchase the drum kits, man, because his drums are fire and I support what he's doing. And I'm a rock with it. So, you know, again, I've purchased other people's kits. I've purchased Bolo. I've purchased, a few of these other guys out here just to see what they're working with. I think they've all delivered good products, and we're just in an age where you can really carve it out. But if you understand what he's doing from a business standpoint, you know something big's on the horizon. And this is chess, not checkers. And I play chess too. And I'm going to tell you right now, I know he's playing chess. It's to make us all better. Because a lot of stuff he says, I learned the hard way. And I've learned through years of talking to people and interacting with people. And man, he's just really giving it to us. So that's really what I just wanted to share with you guys. And I hope that everybody has an opportunity to make the music that they want to make and, continue to share things and keep the positivity going. So with that being said, that's all I got. So I appreciate you guys just watching this and I look forward to what's coming down. So thank you.